Hi, welcome back to the Gemara in Yevamot, Daf Samach Aleph Amud Bet to Samach Bet Amud Aleph. I started this sheet with the Mishnah, which I've punctuated, but I won't read since we did it previously. And I'm going to start from the Gemara, commenting on the line about Beit Shammai and, by extension, Beit Hillel's positions on the issue of Puravu. So I'm going to put this in red since it comes directly from the Mishnah, and start from here. My Tamahu to Beit Shammai. What is the reasoning of Beit Shammai? Why did they say that in order to fulfill Puravu you have to have two boys? That's a question color. Yalfina mi Moshe. They learn it from Moshe. Dichtiv, as it says in Divrei Ha'amim, Bnei Moshe Gershom v'Eliezer. So they learn this from Moshe. This is the pasuk about Moshe in Divrei Ha'amim. Interesting that it quotes Divrei Ha'amim and not Sefer Shemot, where Moshe actually, where we first learn the story of Moshe. But we learn from the model of Moshe according to the Gemara, according to Beit Shammai. So this is the answer. And actually, maybe we'll say that this is the proof. Dichtiv is a proof or support word. Beit Hillel, I can put a question mark there. Beit Hillel, what's their reason, right? Same question for Beit Hillel, even though it's missing the word Tamahu. That's the implication. Yalfina mibriyato shel olam. They learn it from the creation of the world. As indicated in the Mishnah, right? This was really already answered in the Mishnah, that Beit Hillel learns it from the creation of the world. So they're just picking up on that pasuk that gets quoted there. Beit Shammai yalfina mibriyato shel olam. Let Beit Shammai learn it from the creation of the world also. Why does Beit Shammai reject this proof? Ein zanin efshar mishi efshar. We don't learn something that's possible from something that's impossible, or we don't learn a possible case from an impossible case. Rashi here explains, scroll down to the Rashi so you can see it, Rashi explains that the implication is, if Chava hadn't been created, there would be no other woman. Procreation would literally be impossible. But here, in our case, meaning it with Moshe, right? With Moshe, with us, you could say that having two sons fulfills the obligation to have children. It's more than one child, it's children. And that fulfills Puravu because they could certainly procreate. There are other females in the world. So, ein zanin efshar mishi efshar, that's the answer to this challenge. Putting it in green. Okay. Beit Hillel nami li'alfim Moshe. And Beit Hillel also let them learn from Moshe. Why? Same question for them. Why don't they learn from Beit Shammai's proof? Amri lach, Moshe midate hudava. Moshe was acting according to his own knowledge, according to his own opinions. He's sort of like an exceptional case. This is the answer. Here again, it's worth seeing Rashi. Rashi explains, he knew about himself that he could do that. He knew that because of his connection to God, but it doesn't mean it's permissible for other people to act that way. Moshe might not have been following halacha. There were a lot of exceptions for Moshe. Titania, as we learn in a Braita, supporting the idea that there were exceptions for Moshe. There are three things that Moshe did from his own knowledge, of his own volition, and they agreed with the opinion of God, right? Sort of coincidentally, God agreed with Moshe, but of course not coincidentally. Piresh min ha'isha, v'shiveret haluchot, v'hosif yom echad. These are the three things that he did that God agreed with. And now we're going to explain each of them. Piresh min ha'isha, mai darash. He separated from a woman, from his wife. What did he darshan? What pasuk did he see? What led him to this conclusion? Amar, he said, he reasoned, Uma Yisrael shelo dibra imahem shchina ela lefi sha'ah v'kava lahem zman. Amar Torah al tikshu el ha'isha. Ani shemiyuchad l'dibor b'chol sha'ah v'sha'ah v'lo kava li zman al achad kama v'chama. This is a comparison. It's a kal v'chomer. He said to himself, he reasoned, and if in the case of Yisrael, the people of Israel, Shelo Dibra Imahim Shechina, the God's presence doesn't speak to them El Lefisha, except occasionally, the Kavalahem Zman, and he always sets a time in advance. God always sets a time in advance to speak to the people. And yet, Amra Torah, the Torah said, Al Tikshu El Hisha, don't come close to a woman, right? That was a preparation for the time when God would speak to the people, which involved not having sex. Ani shemiyuchad l'dibor b'chol sha'a v'sha'a, I who am set aside for speaking to God at any time, v'lo kaval zman, and God hasn't set the time in advance. It's just like any time God wants, we'll talk. Al achat kama v'chama, how much more so? In other words, Moshe reasoned that he must be obligated to separate from his wife on an ongoing basis because he's available to speak to God at any time, and so much, and that's learned from the fact that God told the people in preparation for this one-time conversation with God, Kilo, that they should separate from their spouses. V'hiskima da'ato l'dat hamakom, and God agreed with him. Right? This agreed with God. Shnei Amar, as it says in Dvarim, Lechem mor lehem shuvu lechem le'ohechem va'atapo le'ohalechem va'atapo amodi madi. The proof that God agreed with him is that God says, go tell the people, go back to your tents, meaning go back to your family, go back to your spouse, but you stay with me. This is taken as God being like, yeah, you did a good job, Moshe, you did the right thing. That's apparently how the Gemara thinks that Moshe, or the Brisa thinks that Moshe interpreted it. And of course, I encourage you to look up the pasuk so you can see the full context. Shiber haluchot, he broke the luchot, the tablets, and darash. What did he explain? What pasuk was he darshaning in order to figure out that this was what he should do? Amar, Moshe said to himself, Uma Pesach shehu echad mishesh me'ot v'shalosh esrei mitzvot. Pesach, right, just as Pesach, which is one of 613 mitzvot, Amar Torah, the Torah said, Kol ben nechar lo yachal bo. The Torah said that no stranger can eat from it, right, that you have to be Jewish to eat the Korban Pesach. HaTorah kula v'Yisrael mu'marima chakama v'chama. When we're dealing with the whole Torah, not just one of the 613 mitzvot, but the whole Torah, and all the Jews are effectively not Jewish anymore, right? They've converted, they're apostates because they're worshiping Avodah Zarah. How much more so? V'hiskima da'ato l'dat hamakom, and God agreed with him. Dichtiv, as it says, Asher shibarta, right? The luchot that you broke. That's what God says to Moshe. Again, look up the context. V'amar Reish Lakish, and Reish Lakish said, Amar leHakadosh Baruch Hu Moshe. God said to Moshe, Yishar kochacha sheshibarta. That pasuk indicates, we could talk about why Reish Lakish reads it that way, but Reish Lakish reads that pasuk when God says, oh, those luchot that you broke, Moshe, as God saying, Yashar kochach Moshe, you did the right thing. So that's the second time when Moshe anticipated God's will by through careful reading of the Torah, Kivyachol. Hosif yom echad mida'ato, my darash. So here's the third example. He added another day from his own knowledge. What did he darshan out? What pasuk did he read in order to get to this conclusion? Tichtiv ukidashtem hayom umachar. This again, you'll need the context here, so be sure to look that up. But you should sanctify yourself today and tomorrow. Hayom kemachar. So Moshe reasoned today is like tomorrow. Mamachar leloimo, just as tomorrow the night is with it. It has to be a full day. That's why we're talking about tomorrow, because it's going to start tonight, because Jewish days start at night. Af hayom leloimo. So too today, the night has to be with it. V'layla deha'ida nafakle. And the night for today has already gone, meaning Moshe and God were speaking during the day, so he couldn't start it the night before because the night before had already passed. Shema mina trei yomei levar meha'idna. So I learned from here that you have to have 2 days excluding right now, excluding today. So he has sort of 2.5 days. It becomes almost like 3 days because it's the daytime now, and he's going to count night, day for the next 2 days. And God agreed with him, or his da'at, right, his opinion aligned with God's opinion. Delo sharia shchina ad shabta, because the shchina, in fact, didn't arrive, didn't dwell there until Shabbat, which Rashi explains we learn from another Gemara, and you should definitely look at that. But the most important point here is that is that these are three instances where Moshe was able to do sort of a close reading of text and correctly anticipate what God already thought. So furthering that point, I mean, it wasn't really necessary to go through all this. It's a little bit of a tangent, but furthering that idea that Moshe is really an exception. Moshe knew what God wanted of him specifically, but just because Moshe had two boys doesn't mean that that's what we should all be doing, doesn't mean that that's the model for Puruvu. Tanya, we have a new Braita. Rabbi Natan Omer, Beit Shammai Omrim Shnei Zacharim V'Shnei Nekevot. Ubeit Hillel Omrim Zachar Nekeva. Even though I usually tell you not to list things as just a Braita, here I think we have, I'm going to just say that this is a Braita because it really is a new statement where we're going to put this Braita, which is of course Tannaitic material, in dialogue with the previous information that we have about Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel and reason this one out. So here's the Braita. Beit Shammai thinks you have to have 2 boys and 2 girls, and Beit Hillel thinks you have to have 1 boy and 1 girl in order to fulfill Puruvu. Amar Rav Huna, my time is Rabbi Natan aliba to Beit Shammai. According to Rabbi Natan, according to Beit Shammai, like what's the reasoning? Dichtiv, as it says in Breshit, V'tosef aledet et echav et Hevel v'achoto, Kain v'achoto. This is the end of the pasuk. It says that Chava continued to give birth, and it uses the word et twice. And the midrash there is that there were hidden girls in there. That she gave birth to Hevel and his sister, and Kain and his sister. Uchtiv ki shatli Elokim zera acher tachat Hevel ki hargo Kain. And then after Hevel is killed, she says, God has given me, sort of a replacement child, right? Because Cain was killed. Because Cain killed Havel. And if you look at Rashi here, right, Shal Izer Acher, Alma Tashlumin Bai, Velo Sagya Below Shnei Zacharim Ushteen Nekevot. This teaches you that she needed more, right? It wasn't enough for her to have 2 boys. It wasn't enough until she had 2 boys and 2 girls. So even though only 1 boy was killed, she needed to keep having children because actually you need to have 4 children. And so putting these 2 psukim together, that's the proof. So I'm going to say that this is a question, and this is the answer. We talked about this. It's an answer, and it's also the proof text, sort of all wrapped up into one. I'm going to put it this way for now, and you'll just know that it includes the proof texts. V'Rabbanan, and what do the rabbis say? Meaning, if you don't think that you actually have to have 4 children in order to fulfill the mitzvah of Puruvu, then what do you do with this pasuk? What's the significance of this pasuk? So this gets a question mark, right? What would the other opinion think that isn't Beit Shammai here? They just think she's thanking God, right? The sort of pshat reading of this pasuk, just that she's thanking God for having more children, not that she actually needed to have more children in order to fulfill Puruvu and was aware of that. Of course, the idea of her being aware of the mitzvot is probably anachronistic anyway, but that's fine for the Gemara. Tanya Irach. Then we have another Braita. Again, I'm going to say this is straight up a Braita that's just being brought into conversation with the other Tannaitic material that we have so far. So Tanya Irach, another Braita, a different Braita. Rabbi Natan Omer, Beit Shammai Omrim Zachar o Nekeva, Ubeit Hillel Omrim O Zachar o Nekeva. Beit Shammai say that you should have a boy and a girl, and Beit Hillel says a boy or a girl. So totally different from what we've seen before. Amar Rava, my time at Rabbi Natan aliva to Beit Hillel. According to Rabbi Natan, according to Beit Hillel, what's the reasoning? Shnei Amar, as the pasuk says, Lo tohu vara l'shevet Yitzrayel. This pasuk that you know by now, the world wasn't created to be desolate, but rather to be inhabited. V'havad la'shevet, and he's done shevet. Right, as Rashi says here, I'll scroll down to Rashi. This is similar to what we saw before. Lo tohu vara, lo bara el tohu el shevet lihiyot oskim b'yishuvo shel olam, right? So it's better to keep having children. Avad shevet, right? He's doing more shevet because he has more children, and so that's why Beit Hillel says, right? It's shevet whether you had a boy or a girl. Either way, you're contributing to the number of people in the world. So this is the answer, which again also includes a proof text. And here's the question, and we'll stop there.